saying? We're in the building. We're in the building. I mean, DG's in the house. What you saying, fam?
Don't know, man. Love for having me, my guy, Rants, man. Yeah, man. I'm bullish, Carl. We've been winning games now. I'm not on the thing mad, but I'm just cool with Arsenal right now.
No, bruv, I know the feeling. I know the feeling still. Do you know what I mean? I know the feeling. Big up everyone in the building, blood. I keep seeing something in these comments. I'm gonna throw that up straight away, blood, because it's something between United and Arsenal fans that's been going on for ages. Blood. Man need to just leave this where it is, innit? It's one of them ones where these are literally, if you add Phil Foden in the mix, yeah, these are probably like the 5 best young players in the Premier League, fam. Man don't need to compare them now, blood, because they ain't really done, apart from Mason, yeah, like man ain't really done. Actually, Saka's doing his thing right now. So man can throw Saka in there as well. But apart from them two, man ain't really done not too much. Williams is doing his thing, but he's not really doing his thing because he's not really playing. Do you know what I mean? Martinelli's not really playing, but he showed glimpses. Exactly. Saka and Mason that are really doing their thing consistently right now, blood. So there's no need to compare all of these, man. They're all completely different players. I told man from early, Saka's not even a left back. So when man comparing Saka to Brandon Williams, for what, bruv?
It's worse, isn't it?
Yeah, for what? It don't make no sense. Do you know what I mean? And Martinelli and Mason, yeah, play nothing alike as well. So comparing them, again, don't even make sense, blood. But man, football, they always do it though. You know them, man always do it. I feel like the little youth them just play their game.
Because when they go through them tough moments, you know, this is the thing I'm scared of. It don't matter if it's Saka, Martinelli, Greenwood. You've seen it with United youngsters. I've seen it with Arsenal. It's like when guys break through, it's like they're the golden boys. Everything they touch, they can't do wrong. And then when they go through them tough moments, fans are on them. It's like just like let man develop, because they're gonna go through tough times.
It's true. Them man are learning, bruv. At the beginning, like you have to make allowances for inconsistency, all these different things. But then when you get special players, it just doesn't tend to happen, bro. Like every time I've watched Saka, I can't see I've never seen him not look good, bruv. You know them ones. You know, there's certain players where like Rashford, for example, like sometimes you watch him and he looks terrible, blood. And sometimes you watch him and he looks wavy, blood. Like when you watch top talents, bruv, like Saka, like Mason Greenwood, like Martinelli, which I've never seen them man just look rubbish, bro. Like it's never happened, bro. Man they carry a certain level of quality no matter what they do. Even if they don't have a good game, they don't look shit. You know them, man. Like there's levels in football, blood.
It's like them man there. It's like they just look like I'd add Greenwood and Foden into that mix. It's like they're bored level, and I think people need to see them man. They are the anomalies. Like they're like, not every youngster is gonna be like them. It's like you said with Rashford, he's a good player, but it didn't happen like Greenwood sort of thing.
Yeah, it didn't.
It's like people just need to allow these guys, man. It's like it's scary how these guys have popped up. It's kind of a good thing how both our teams have kind of been poor, because would Greenwood and Saka and these guys be playing consistently if the squad was just healthy? Who knows, man?
Yeah, Greenwood wouldn't be playing consistently, but Greenwood has such a talent, he would have broken through anyway. Even under Ferguson, yeah, Welbeck broke through under Ferguson. Do you know what I mean? So if you're doing well in the youth team, you get a chance. Like Arashi kind of came through in a situation where Bearman got injuries and also we weren't as good. I doubt we would have seen him, in the United first team when we saw him, if at all, if we were successful at the time, because he was behind at the time Wayne Rooney, Anthony Martial, even behind Will Keane as well, blood. All the man got injured and Rashford popped up and actually scored against you, man. And that was his debut. But knowing Mason Greenwood, I was bigging him up like over 2 years ago, bro. And then when he bagged that hat-trick in the FA Youth Cup, I was like, yo, this is my guy, bro. And I hung my hat on him from then. But I don't have them memories of Rashford. I don't. In the youth team, there was always bare man ahead of him. You know them, man. So sometimes it's circumstances. I don't know what your youth team saying. With Saka, I don't know. Were you like, how did it? Was you man talking about him like a year ago, 2 years ago? Were you watching him?
For me, Saka's a bit like what, because I used to watch Greenwood. Like what you're saying about Greenwood, it's like you could always watch the games. It's like I remember seeing him first time I saw him, he was a schoolboy. He must have been about 15, and he played for the under 18s. The same way you see him playing now, literally just seeing him be a schoolboy, play for the 18s, be 16, playing for the 23s, and then be in the first team. It's like what you said. It's like hanging a hat on them. It's like you can see their aura is different because don't get me wrong, they're both skillful players. But what I like about Greenwood and Saka, in comparison to other kids, is like there's a speed of thought. Like they're calculated. They're not just doing things for the sake of doing things. They see the picture. And everything else will drop into play for them. Like Greenwood, I'm even seeing he's looking a bit stocky and more of a powerful runner, but I think they've had a good building base, man. It's like I get what you're saying about Rashford, because that's how a couple of our youngsters, but Saka, like Greenwood's been always, you know, someone you could see playing it. I didn't think he would get his chance this quick and, you know, solidify his place in the team so quickly, but it was always coming, man. It's, you know what they say, cream rises to the top, and Greenwood and Saka, facts.
These men are special, like you said, speed of thought. Because you know what's mad here? Both of these players are actually, they got a bit of pace about them. But no one talks about that because they're so good at football, bruv. You know them ones. There's certain players that man talk about their speed all the time because it's their main asset, bro. Like Greenwood can burn, fam. Like, you know them ones. Like Saka can blow. But when these men have the ball at their feet, they look like they've got so much time on the ball because they're so good, bro. You know them ones. And like when I saw man playing at left back and breezing it up, I was like, this player's not a left back. You could tell. Like he sees the game too well to be a left back. And the man stuck him in the middle, almost playing like one of them like false number 10s. A man slapping off the net and that.
Holding it up, yeah.
Bro.
It's like even the left back thing, fam. It's like even that's what I like about Saka. Because if you listen to his comments and read between the lines, he don't want to be left back, but it's like you see education and the reason to do it. And it's like, that's why I think it's a bit of a cop-out when people say, oh, this youngster's not in this position and that. Like, I get it, but nail something down. And that's what I like about Saka. Like you said, he holds it up.
But it's true, because even Maitland-Niles ain't a right back, blood. But bruv, if that's where they're gonna play you, then man, you have to learn that position, bro. Sometimes,
or not, fam.
If that's where you're gonna play in the first team, bruv, you're intelligent enough, you're making enough money, bruv. Go learn that position, bro. Do you know what I mean? Because if you've got football fundamentals, really, you should be able to play anywhere to a certain level. You should. Like, man, has seen it with more experienced players. Like, I watched James Milner play left back for a whole season, bro. He didn't look like he wasn't a left back.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you've got good football fundamentals and a brain in your head, you can learn a position, bro. Like, there's not really any excuse, bro. And you see the level in football intelligence and technical ability in a lot of these young players. When they move into the first team, anyone can look good in the under-21s, bro. But you see when man step up and they're playing the big man football, you can't hide, bruv.
Yeah.
It's this.
Can't rely on strength and pace in all situations and shit, You
can't. Your pace ain't enough, blood. I watched Theo Walcott tear up the youth team before you man signed him. And everyone was raving about him, but I saw his limitations, blood, because his game was 90% pace, blood. When you get in big man football, and you can't outrun everyone, you can't stay at Arsenal, blood. You know those, because you need more about you up here. That's why Wenger always played him out wide.
You need a break.
That's it. Even when he wanted to play up front, Wenger was like, you don't have it, rude boy. You know them ones, and that's what it is. And a lot of men don't realize the difference between men's football and kids football. A lot of the time, it's just this, bro.
It's just psychological. It's doing things quicker, seeing pictures. It's not really anything to do with, obviously you need pace and to get stronger and things, but it's speed of thought. And that's why I rate Saka out of our young players, give or take, with Martinelli the most, is because he can do the skills, but you wouldn't, in comparison to some of our youngsters, you wouldn't say he's flashy, but there's a thought behind it. He might just do a step over and bust out because he sees an option. I see too many youngsters, they want to do the show pony thing, and it's as fickle as it is, it's goals and assists, it's seeing the pitches quicker. That's first team football. And it's like what you said, people look good at 23s and 18s, and it's like you almost feel that you were stupid for rating them, seeing them in the first team because they look just fresh and stuff like that, man. So that's facts.
Yeah, but it's mad. If you know what you're looking for in footballers, though, because even like in our team, we've got like Tahith Chong, in the youth team, he's clearly too good for the youth team. But when I see what he does in the youth team, I know why he's good there, and I know why he's not good in men's football, blood. Because in youth team, you could just get away with doing certain things. You can bully man to a certain degree. You know them ones. You can rely on the little bit of turn of pace that you've got. And even though you're not that skillful, you can kind of run around a little 18-year-old you if they're not ready, blood. And also, the levels in ability at that level the gap is so big, blood. If you're a wavy 18-year-old and you're playing against a normal 18-year-old, you destroy them, bro. But when you go into big man football, everyone in that team is of a similar level, bro. Do you know what I mean? There's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to hide. When you're playing Premier League football, everyone in that team, whether you're playing for the worst team in the Prem or the best team in the Prem, the difference between the ability at the top and bottom shouldn't really be that great, because the better players end up moving on and going somewhere else anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? So you can't hide, bruv. You can't hide in men's football. In youth football, man can hide, blood. And a lot of these man,
in it, fam. Trust me.
A lot of them man be flattering the hell out of themselves, and then they go to men's football, and they get their pants pulled down, bro.
Yeah. It's like, I need to step up now, sort of thing.
That's what I'm saying. Big up everyone in the comments. Make sure you smash the like button. What are you saying for Arsenal's performance against Wolves, blood? It was a very good performance, blood, and we wanted you to win for the one of the only times. So You get me?
See how you man stay battering us all year, and now you're the top four is looking good for you. And on a serious note, I mean, what can I say, bro? Clean sheet, away win. Like, I thought it was gonna be gazy for us. I did think watching the game again, there was a couple things in our performance we can kind of better. It's like, if you watch the game in it early on, it looked like a thing where our midfield and our defense we're gonna have all the ball, but we couldn't connect like Aubameyang and the rest of them into it. So we need to find a way of doing that. I did feel Wolves had a couple half chances they could have exploited. I felt really like both teams just cancelled each other out. Like, I'll be real, the first half an hour was a very, not because we're poor, but a hard watch because there's nothing going on, man. But
yeah,
what can I say, bro? We, this 3-4-3 thing, I don't know if it's the thing long term, but right now it's working for us. Individuals are looking decent. There's a bit of fucking, what's the word? Confidence going on. And for us, we've got a gazy run of fixtures. Like, I don't think top four can happen for us, but the players should believe it could. And we've got what? Of no order, what we got? Liverpool, Spurs, Leicester on Tuesday. We got City in the FA Cup. I won't say there's a lot to play for this season, but it's about respect and building blocks. And if nothing more, I'm happy for this little mini run that we're doing and coming with. Obviously, you lot might benefit from it, but it is what it is, man. So yeah.
How you lot feeling about Arteta? Because I've always said, that I like what I see with him, and he ain't got the players, bro. What's going on with Xhaka, blood? Well, you got a player again, blood. Like that, brother. That's what I keep telling football. A lot of football fans don't understand how important a system is in football, brother. It can make and break a player.
People can make or break,
bro. Like, literally, a system can really make or break a player, bro. The key fact, look at Jordan Henderson, bro. That system has given this guy, bro, it's put him in conversations he don't belong in, bro.
PFA player. Like, I respect his thing, but he shouldn't be in PFA shouts.
Bruv. When I'm seeing man's stats and he's getting duppied by like James MacArthur and them, man, like, like that, that's when you have to think, yo, Klopp is doing judge over there, fam.
He's doing a mad thing, innit? Yeah, he's masking the performances, bro.
Bro, when you look at systems can literally, bruv, sometimes you see in a system, you just need a man to do a job and no more than just a job, bro.
That's it, and that's what fans don't get. I think that's because today's day and age. I think every bare footballers are jack of all trades. It's always like he can play up front. Like, I'm no disrespect. I rate Martial and Rashford, but they're two examples. 1 minute they're wingers, then they're strikers. Arsenal got better of them. There's better of them at City. People don't understand specialists, and I think with football, we always look at what a man can't do all the time. It's not like that's his, like you said, that's his job in the side. You just do that and perform it. You don't need to be no defensive mid, a mad progressive passer. Obviously, the modern day wants people to do that, but you don't have to overdo it half the time, man. It's like what you said at the beginning. People don't understand football really and understand roles and the psychological things that go behind it. They just see football with agendas and hashtags and fancy apps and the rest of it, man. But I think you asked me about Arteta, innit?
Yeah.
For me, Arteta, it's still early because I don't really know what he's good at, what he's bad at, sort of thing, like over sustained time. But I like what I'm seeing because for me, whether I agree with it or not, I like to see a man with a plan in it. If you ain't got a plan for players to believe in, it's all a myth. You can see what he wants to do. Eventually, he wants to make us, this aggressive side, pressing, what Wenger used to do, passing the ball forward, being brave. I want to use the word improve subjectively, bro, but we look a bit more solid defensively. It looks like, for me, the players, they understand a bit more of their roles. Like, strikers understand, let me try to cut out this fullback because if it goes down the line, it could get long for us. They understand that sort of thing. And I like, he's giving confidence to everyone. Like Mustafi, I still think he has to go. But if you ask me a year from now, any Arsenal fan will get gazy for him. Now it sounds stupid to be saying that because he's playing well. And I like that. It's like he said there, listen, whatever happened before me, it's irrelevant. What the fans are saying, it's irrelevant. You're my man. I believe in you. Go and do your thing. And I think many players have benefited from that. Like, look at Joe Willock. It's like he's not playing amazing, but when he comes on, he looks more confident. Pepe of late looks more confident. Even people like Lacazette, where, he's being dog shit by his own standard, he doesn't, and it's only been a recent thing, he's not holding his head down and stuff. So I'm liking what Arteta's doing, but for me, bro, I'll be real with you, Rants, it's what the man them on top ahead of Arteta are on, because he can be on anything. If they're not we're never going to be able to drop 70, 80 million on players. But if you're not going to do the scouting thing properly and address these areas properly, then we're going to be here on the same live saying the same thing about Arsenal a year from now, cuz.
Bruv, I hear you fully, and that's what I said about Arteta here. When Arteta was coming in, I always said, like, he's got good fundamentals, and he'll be able to do a thing at Arsenal if he's given the tools in it.
Right.
Because when you look at Arteta right now, yeah, the fact that Arsenal look better defensively and you haven't got any better players now.
Yeah. There's no one levels really,
bruv, and that shows you the importance of a system, bro. Like a system. That's it. Because if these players know their jobs, yeah, bruv, life is just so much easier when players just know what to do, bruv. Even if it's just a basic thing, bruv. And I saw it, yeah. I saw it at my club as well. When we had Louis van Gaal, yeah, he made Chris Smalling look like some ball playing centre half, bro, and he never was one. You know them ones. And when you've got the right coach that can just say, bruv, forget what you think you're good at, just do this.
Just do that, yeah.
You know what I'm saying, bruv? It makes such a big difference in football, blood, and you're seeing that now with Arsenal. The fact that man could play Saka left back and then move him into midfield, yeah, and then there's no difference, bro. Yeah, football's the same. Whoever plays left back still does the same job that Saka did when he was at left back. Maybe not to the same level, but every man's got a role in the team. Everyone's got a purpose. Everyone knows what they're doing, innit? And that's the difference between coaches and managers, bro. And that's that's the thing I say about my team. We have a manager, but we don't have a coach. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you have a manager and you don't have a coach, you need wavy ballers, bro. Because if you don't have wavy ballers, yeah, and you're not a coach, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You know them ones. And that's why as soon as we get two injuries, blood, my team's on autopilot and we're getting pammed by Bournemouth and Burnleys and that. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's what it is. So right now I'm riding high with Ollie at the helm now, yeah, because every man's fit. But when man are saying, oh, like after the performance, do we need blood? We are 2 injuries away from getting slapped up again. You know them ones. That's what man need to realize. Like, stay down. Let's be very excited because we're in a great time right now. Like, we're recruiting correctly. We're going in the right direction, but never lose sight of the fact that man are 2 injuries away from getting pammed by a mid-table team.
Don't get that situation.
Yeah, that's where we are, bro. Because the team, our players are so good, and what the manager's doing very well is, again, when you say about confidence, like with Willock and that, these men want to play for the manager. Yeah, this is the first time post Ferguson that I've seen a whole squad that want to play for the manager. Under David Moyes, players weren't feeling him from the beginning.
Yeah, that one's doomed. Like
LVG, some man loved him, some man hated him. Mourinho, it was the same. Ollie's come in and he's got everyone on side. Matic, he lost him and he got him back. You know them ones. But everyone's on side, bro. And when you've got good players and good happy players, sometimes that's enough, bro.
That point you just said, people underestimate. At the end of the day, football's a workplace. But if you're happy and you're enjoying your teammates, you're gonna play better. Like I don't smile myself in it, so I don't like to comment about the Martial thing because you know it's a bit silly. But he's smiling. He looks like before. It looked like if he missed the effort, there's bare things on his mind. Now he understands like buses. There's a next one coming, sort of thing. Everybody wants to play, and I feel for you as an outsider looking in. Of late, you lot have hit form at the right time. Like I agree with what you're saying about Ollie's. Like he's the manager, not a coach. But I think statistically, apart from Liverpool, City, maybe Leicester, not too many teams have done better than you defensively. So there's been a little something there. You've
absolutely.
And what I like from you lot,
remember he inherited a team from Jose, blood. So man used to parking it up still, you know, like that. So
there's tinkering in your team for me. Like you lot, it looked like 1 minute Martial and then it's this guy. It's like you're using your best front three and it's scary. Like one thing I think still there for you lot, you're getting back to that counter-attacking United. As an Arsenal fan, I know how long it gets for you lot on the like. There's bare memories, memories of players. You're getting back to that. I just feel for you lot, couple better players. Mainly, I'd say a centre half because it seems like you lot just concede these Arsenal dumb goals as well. These because you can't do anything if you keep doing that dumb stuff. You can't do anything. But I feel you lot again. It's a big if. If you recruit right, get a couple squad players. You lot could do something next year or be in the mix and them things there with Chelsea next year probably and the 2 ones running away with it.
Definitely, bro. And that's what I mean. And that's why I think a lot of fans need to understand, bro. Like we've got 2 completely different managers, but also our managers have 2 completely different squads. You know them ones. Right. If Arteta had the man that we have, I know he would do an absolute madness. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you man just don't have the quality in depth at the moment. You don't have it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Guys,
and also your team's mad imbalanced, bro. When I look at like your players, it's like who is actually your holding midfielder, bro? Because Xhaka's not really a DM.
There's no holding.
Do you know what I mean? But there you go. Guendouzi is not a holding midfielder. Like when man looks at the balance of your team, it's like there's bare square pegs and round holes everywhere, bro. And he's still getting these men to play football.
That's the thing. That's why I think he'll be all right. Because again, I think the one thing that we haven't even spoken about, and Arsenal fans, a lot of them, not a lot, but someone talking about his age and inexperience. Nobody mentioning that now. If you're gonna critique him or judge him, it's what he's doing. And I think that came from having conviction. I don't think Emre had conviction in his ideas. I don't think Emre is a bad manager. He's just not a top 4, top 6, whatever guy, because he's not. It's not one way of playing. It's too much. Like if me and you had a team, he's thinking about too much about what Rants FC can do and what your players are and all of these sort of things. He's not thinking about what we can bring to the table. And it's like we had someone with Wenger who, as much as I loved him, he was too much focused on what we could do, to Emre who's not. And Arteta seems to have the balance. I'm still personally trying to sense him out. I think the one criticism I have of him, seems a bit delayed with the subs. He seems to be like on this Wenger thing with the 60th minute is starting to get a bit predictable. But beyond that, I'm liking the conviction. Our midfield, you keep mentioning it, and I think that's important, man. We need to get that sorted, because there's not really any goal scorers. There's no one really dynamic. There's no one really spot on defensively. There's guys that can pass the ball and play all right, but it's not. Yeah, man, I can see why he would. We've been linked with selling Torreira and Torreira and Guendouzi to bring in Szoboszlai and Partey. I don't want either of them to go, but I'll be on that, to be fair. I can see the method to the madness. Someone breaking the lines. Obviously, Partey is dynamic and all these things similar to your midfielders. But yeah, man,
I think he just knows what kind of player he wants, bro. Similar to Pep. When Pep came in, yeah, bruv, he kicked Joe Hart out, bruv. Not because Joe Hart was a terrible shot stopper, but man couldn't play with his feet, blood. Do you know what I mean? Like Pep knows what he wants, and I think that Arteta just knows the kind of player he wants in that position, innit? And if he doesn't have it, it's kind of like Torreira. He probably looks at him and says, "You know what? You might be a decent player, but you can't do the job that I want you to do, so I'm not playing you." You know what I mean? And again, I respect that. You know what I'm saying? I do respect that. It's kind of like I do prefer a coach or a manager to have a philosophy, because with football, I just like to know what I'm going to get, bruv.
Facts, bro.
You know what I mean?
You just want to know on the match day what man are going to see. Like,
bruv, I find it easier to get excited that way. You know what I mean? Like, with my team, it's kind of when everyone's fit, I know that man are just going to apply pressure on man. But I know even if we change one player in that midfield, yeah, the whole game's different.
Yeah.
The whole game, just one man. How is one man out of 11 changing the whole way we play?
The whole way you play, philosophy, dynamics, all of it.
And so that's what I'm saying.
So who's your what's it? You think you need a midfielder? Because looking at you, like, I think defensive mid, like someone that's a bit of an upgrade, and then you got some scary options.
Yeah, I think that we need an upgrade on Matic. Not because Matic isn't good, but I feel like a more dynamic version of that is frightening for us. Do you know what I'm saying? I think we need another centre half as well, and I think we need a right midfielder. Like if I was going to sign 3 players in the summer, I'd definitely go get Jaden. I'll get a defensive mid, and I'll get a centre back. The funny thing is with centre halves, yeah, when I look at world football, there's just not many like top centre halves, bro, that are reasonable price, bro. Apart from Koulibaly that everyone's talking about, who's like 29 is going to cost peas. There's no one else, bro, like in that bracket of ability that's available, bro. Do you know what I mean? So you're looking around the Premier League to cop man from Bournemouth for like Ake's and them, man. You know what I mean? Or a Mings or something. There's not really like top level centre halves that are available, bro. So
yeah.
I really don't know where these men are going to do their shopping. Like, I really don't know what they're going to do in their shopping. But I think that them 3 positions need to be addressed urgently, because I think that's the difference between having good squad depth and having a serious challenge. I don't think that we can challenge to win the league. I don't. Like I said yesterday in my match review, man are finishing all 30 points behind the champions and that, bro. Just close the gap to 10 points. I'll be happy for one season, and then we go again after that.
And then up and
yeah,
up.
you can't expect to close 30 points, blood, like in one window.
It's not going to happen, yeah.
It's not. And I think a lot of fans kind of get carried away because we go on a run of a few wins and think, yeah, we can challenge for the league and that, bro. Like, there's so many things that happen in football that you can't legislate for. You can't legislate for Pogba, Rashford being out for most of the season, bro. Like, when man have been out for three months of the season, Rashford's having his back. Pogba was out from like the turn of the new year all the way till now. You can't plan for that. It don't matter who you buy, blood. When you lose 2 of your most important players for long periods in the season, there's no preparation you can do for that. What What you man looking to? What would you say you need to strengthen, blood? Because to be fair, there's a lot of changes that need to be made.
Bro, for me, it's the spine first and foremost, Carl. You know, it's like building a house. You build the foundations, and then you talk about the decorations and stuff. I feel even before Arteta and stuff, Arsenal, we've been too top heavy in it. Like we've had ballers, we can play football, but we can't do nothing else. So for me, it's a centre half thing. Like the thing about Arsenal and Arsenal fans, and you probably see it as well. We let form kind of gas them a bit. It's like I'm not get onto Mustafi, you know, I'd keep Mustafi for a year. He's earned that at least with me if we're not going to do anything. But, you know, Mustafi, Luiz, Socrates, these men are repeat offenders. So we need to repeat offenders, fam. They're doing these things hella times, isn't it? It's like, you watched us, you know yourself. So centre-half, Car, we've got like 6 men, apart from Saliba, who's still young and that, and you know how it is with youngsters. I don't really see a centre-half that I'm like, yeah, like you give me conviction. Midfield, we just spoke about that without doubt. Centre mid, maybe if I could 2 midfielders, 2 centre mid, someone that can break the line, someone that's box to box, dynamic sort of thing. And then at a push for me personally, I want that Alexis Sanchez, you know, that at his time at Arsenal, I want that sort of thing, man. I want someone to kind of shake things up, because I look at Aubameyang, excluding Aubameyang, I don't really look at players like, you're going to pull us out of it. Like, Alexis was one of the first players in a while, you know, we could be shit. He might be the difference between 3 points. And Aubameyang can't always be like that. So if we can, maybe a left, right winger, someone like that, maybe even we signed Cedric Suarez. I would say maybe got to look at fullback, because Bellerin's under surveillance from me, and left back, if Tierney's injured. Am I really convinced with Kolasinac? Not really. I can't lie to you, bro. So, but I'd say the spine, 2 centre mids, centre half, or 2 minimum. Like, if I could, 2 midfielders, 2 centre halves, but it ain't gonna happen. I'd say them need that minimum.
Real talk, because when you look at modern football, blood, if you see how modern football's changed, to be fair, if you got a decent spine, you could play anyone out wide. You know them ones. Like, that's what a lot of men don't realize. Like, Mason Green was a striker, blood, but nowadays, blood, your strikers are playing from the left, from the right. If you're forward, you need to be able to play everywhere across that front line, bro.
Across them all, and
you have to be able to. So them man are the least important, bro. You can get a man to do a job out there, blood. You're playing with the ball, and a lot of the time you're not playing in a firing line. You're receiving the ball in space, bro. You don't have to be the best player, but your spine, the man down in the central defense and in the center mid, if them man are not moving correctly, bro,
it's long.
It's very long
for us, fam. It's long, and that's what I'm like. I think Xhaka's misunderstood. I think Xhaka's a weird one. It's like you got fans that are so up his ass, they're putting him to a level he's not, and there's people acting like he's dog shit. He's not. He's in between the two. He's an okay player, but even with him, I don't think he's dynamic enough to like be relying on him. If I was manager, he'd be in my plans. He'd be playing, but I need dynamism, man, because that's where modern day football is. Look at Kevin De Bruyne. Probably give or take him and Pogba, probably the best creative players in the league. They're dynamic. It's not poetry in motion. We ain't got that. And I focused on defense when I was criticizing them. Our defense is Kalam, but the midfield, like following runners, clocking the thing before it's happened. We need to get to that first and foremost. And that's actually where I'm looking at Arteta. Car, you used to play there, like later on in your career, you was playing at the base. So it's like I see why he has Xhaka. I don't think there's similarities, but I can see why he uses him. And you know what? Maybe more than I can comprehend football. We've had probably about 4 managers now. Wenger, Lumberg, Emre, Arteta, they've all used him. So regardless of what I think about my man, there must be something he gives to the team. And then, but the thing with Arsenal, none of these midfielders, I don't think they're bad. Apart from El Nene, I don't think they're bad centre midfielders. It's just, you look at them, I don't feel any of them really are mess technically, dynamism, and the goal scorers, bro. I didn't touch on that. We ain't got no goal scorers in midfield. At least you lot, you signed Bruno, and I know there's bare things you could praise him for, but he's provoking goals. If he's not scoring them, the set pieces, our midfield don't come with goals like that. And it's like modern day, you need that. Like, I don't know what I'm getting from my midfield. Like, generally, I don't know what they represent. Like the pivot, like Xhaka and Ceballos, they've been quite good, but it's like, hang them on a wall, ask me, Deluded, what are they? I can't tell you. Like, I don't know what they are. Like, it's a bit of a weird one.
But that's the thing, in modern day football, you rely so heavily now on goals from your front three, blood. So heavily. If your front three aren't scoring goals, back in the day, you man used to have Lundberg, Rosicki, all these men would chip in with 10, 15 goals a season from centre mid. Like, you knew it from midfield, bro. Do you know what I mean? Pires was bagging you mad goals. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you had man from midfield really chipping in with goals. Now, because of the way it is, if you, like, even Liverpool, for example, bruv, you look at their 3 midfielders, no matter what 3 midfielders they play, these men don't score. You don't hang your hat on
about it.
Yeah, Genie pops up, but still, no, what maximum 10 goals a season you expect?
It's not mess. It's not mess, but
you see what I mean? It's all right, but man's popping up with a goal every 4 games or something like that. Like it's not, you can't say man's a goal scorer in midfielder with a record like that. You see what I'm saying? These men are all functional midfielders, but they get the mass of their goals from the front three. So if your front three are not banging goals, if you've got like someone like a Lacazette that's not giving you 20 goals in all comps, then he's not up to levels, bro. It's stressful for your team because Aubameyang, even when I say he can't score 40 goals every season, he probably can, but he shouldn't have to.
Oh no, yeah, we shouldn't live. We shouldn't make or break. That's what I mean by I want a super player like that, Alexis, because we need to take the workload. Could you imagine Liverpool if they just had Mane or just had Salah? Like they would still show class, but people are allowing others to coast and stuff. And I think that's the problem with Arsenal. It's like if it's not coming from our left hand side or Aubameyang's not far from the crime scene or even Saka now, then it's peak for us. Like and I need to like our right hand side. Like I don't think Pepe's been a bad player. Like he's been a bit underwhelming, but he ain't been bad. The drop off between the left and the right is too mad, bro. It's like there's been injuries and a couple man have been playing here and out the team, but it's like that's one thing that Arteta can do in the coaching thing. We need to be a threat from the right hand side because everybody can clock it on the left. That's where our goals are coming from, and I don't want to be predictable.
Yeah, like, my man's saying here, what do you think of Kieran Tierney, bruv? I rated him before you lot signed him anyway. Like I was vocal about it. I wanted him ahead of Shaw because I don't rate Luke Shaw. Man know already how I feel about him. You get me? So it's one of them ones. But I ain't seen too much of him since he's come back from injury. Like how has he done for you lot?
See what I like about him, he's like a white Sagna in that, Sagna was a player who just done his job. I like players like that. I can, like you said, you know what you want to get. I like players where 10 games, I know what I fucking get from you. And I think Tierney's one of them. I like his mentality because even he's had injuries, but even his first game, I think he played in the Cup. I was at the Emirates. He's acting like he's the captain, like he's been here for time. He's telling people drop and things like that. I think he's been decent, man. He can cross the ball, can go forward. Away from all of that, he just seems happy to do his job. He's just happy to just turn up and drink water and play. Don't need these mad supplements that they roll with. I've got a lot of time for Tierney, man. He's somewhat, like what I said, I only think there's probably about 5-6 men that I would say if I was Arteta that you're involved in my plans without question. I think Tierney'd be one. For him, it's a staying fit thing because I don't know why he keeps getting subbed. He came off yesterday. I don't know if he's injured or cramped because I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking, is it a durability thing? Because like the shoulder's unlucky. That can happen in the game. Your shoulder went. But it's like it's a culmination of things. So it's like, are we gonna be one of these things where when he's here, he's sick, but he's barely about? And that's where I might be saying, do we need another left back? But if he stays fit, I think that's someone we can have for about 5 years or so. He just does his job. Happy to do that, man.
Yeah, he looks like a proper player, brother, and he's got a presence about him. You know them ones because man just comes in the team, and I think what game was it? I think 2 games ago, brother. Like I think he had a great game for you. Bear man was saying he was your man of the match and that he bossed it. What game was that?
Probably Southampton.
Yeah. And brother, like the thing is, like he gets forward, he can defend. You know them ones. It's one of them ones where it's good to have a left back here, an attacking left back that can actually defend because a lot of these fullbacks are good going forward, but bruv, you can always catch them out, bruv. Your bread and butter is defending, bruv. I tell all of these fullbacks, bro, like as much as it's good, looking good going forward, blood, when you make the mistake and your team concede, that's when man are judging you,
Yeah. Niggas don't care about what you're doing past that. Like, you don't care about how much assist you're getting. If you can't, like, it don't mean nothing because that's all we're gonna see. Like literally, bro. And that's where I'm going with Kolasinac, bro. It's like I like Kolasinac, but he's second choice because he's a pattern defensively right now, playing in the back three, but he's a fire hazard. There's too many gaps. It's like Bellerin. It's like I don't like because I used to be the right back. I can see it. It's like I want my right backs to do their job. Like that's why I got a lot of time for Wan-Bissaka. I know I bants him on Twitter a lot with going forward, but he can do his job. I want someone to just do their job first and anything. It's like centre halves. It drives me nuts. The first thing we're talking about centre halves is ball playing. Don't get twisted. We need that. I want that, but you can ball play as much as you want. If you can't hold the line and track men, it's all air, bro. It's all air. Like,
but that's what I mean. A lot of these players, it's kind of like, bruv, just do the basics first, innit? And then we build from there. And a lot of people see certain things. And like when I look at Tierney, it's just like, bruv, even though he's good going forward, he's a defender, blood.
Yeah, facts.
There's bare these fullbacks these days and that. Yeah, they're running forward, doing step overs and that, brother, and then they get their pants pulled down the other way.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying? And that's why, like, even with like Dallo on our team, I love him, bro. Like, he's so good going forward, yeah, as a right back, step overs, whipping in great crosses. But I'm like, bro, you should have just been a right winger, fam, because defensively, bruv, like, you give me anxiety, fam. You know, that gives me anxiety, bro. Like, to this day, I can't remember him making a solid tackle, blood. And all my memories of him are just going past man and looking wavy, blood. But it's like, that's not enough, bro, for a team here that don't have a structured defensive shape, blood. You know them ones. When you've got that, and you've got a team like a City, or the way that Arteta's trying to play with man overlapping and man doubling up and that, you can have a right back like that. Do you know what I'm saying? But in a team that are just doing their thing and there's no set structure, bro, if you don't have a man that's organizing the defense and actually telling him when to go, when to stay, bro, it just looks like there's some little you controlling man on a joypad, man. He's all over the place. Fam, and then the man are just playing last-ditch football, blood.
That's it. You said it right there. That last-ditch football thing. That's something I want Arsenal to eradicate, fam. Like, I'm not on it. We need to go into games, starting games, ending games, middle of games. We know what we're trying to do. I don't like the freestyling thing on the football field, and that's something I've seen all season. Arteta's kind of patterned it, but I don't know what it is with my team. It's like, I don't know if it's a mentality thing, because I see guys that haven't been here come in here, and within a couple of months, they're part of the fuckery now. There's young players, there's experienced players, there's people who have grown up in war-torn sort of things and come. So what's a game of football? It's the mentality, and that's what I believe Arteta is changing. But how much can he change? I don't know how much these players have bought into it. It's good now because we're playing all right. But what if next season first 10 games we've lost 5? Are man still going to say this? And that's why, kind of going back to the first thing, I'm saying you have to, whether the board agree with it or not, you need to get Arteta who he wants, and you need to help him move these players on. Like, it appears that he wants to let Guendouzi go for whatever reason, you know, make that happen. Like, get him out. Because you can't let these bad, I'm not saying he's a bad egg or anything, but anyone that's not on board with his thing, it's going to harm us as a club. Even if it's Aubameyang, if Aubameyang's not involved in this thing, he needs to move on, sort of thing. I'm not saying he is, but just to illustrate the point.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Because even with the Guendouzi thing, there's he's fined him in it, and I think he dropped him for the game after the thing with Mopai and that.
Since that mad thing, he ain't been in no squads.
Well, there you go.
4 squads now, 4 games now, probably about 3.
Well, there you go. So clearly the manager's got a problem with his attitude, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because Guendouzi ain't the kind of player that should be talking reckless, bro. Like, he ain't done nothing in football yet. You know what I mean? So when you're moving bossy like that, yeah, like, nah, bro, man have to get put down, bro. Understand that my man's just come from Manchester City with Kun Aguero and them, man, and you know what I mean?
You're doing verbal, calm it down.
You're doing verbals, man.
But fam, that's where I'm conflicted with this Guendouzi thing, you know. Cause I think it's a thing where when he just say, you know what, you're a baller, but you're a headache. I ain't got time for this. There's bare things to pattern up with Arsenal. But it's like, let me not, like, Arsenal have had a bunch of pussies for years, innit? And I agree with what you're saying about Guendouzi, but I think he's one of them. I'm not saying he's gonna be a baller, but I see enough to polish
promote him. Yeah,
like there's a player in there, but he's one of them. He's either gonna be a decent player or he's just gonna coast and be shit. And it's down to him. I personally think Arteta just said, you know, because we heard this a couple months ago. I think Arsenal went to Dubai. You heard they had a little mad thing in Dubai. I think he's got too much to worry about. He can't be asked to be doing this now. Like, he's got a bag of things to do to get us back to where we need to be on and off the field. I just feel it's like he just sees Guendouzi. It's like, you're good, but I mean, you're not like Martinelli or Saka or even Greenwood.
You're not special.
Like, you're not mess like that. You're a good player, but it's like, if we can get a 20 mil, it's a profit. We move, you know, you slap that 20 mil for Partey, he's 40 odd, you know, you're only slapping 20 odd of your own real P's. You move forward, man. What happened? Yo. Did you freeze?
Yeah.
Yo. Yo. Are we still there? I don't know. Man. People, if you can hear me, I don't know if we're live.
Did you freeze?
Oh, shit. Oh, we're back. I don't know what happened there. Oh, no, we're not. If you can hear me, I don't know if we're live.
Hey, freezing. Yeah.
Oh, flip sake.
Oh, we're back.
Are we here, yeah?
Yeah. I can hear you now. We got there.
Yeah, I was gonna say with Guendouzi, yeah, you can see technically there's a baller in there, but the thing is, like, he looks a bit headless sometimes, isn't it? And the thing is, Arteta is one of them guys, probably similar to Pep, where, bruv, if you don't. Oh, fuck, bro. Yeah, Pep benched Aguero at the start of the season because he wasn't pressing, bro. And it's just simple. It don't matter how good you are. If you're not doing...
Hey, why is the internet caught blocking us today, fam?
Well, let me... I don't know if it's me or it's his, but it's fine anyway. We bring him back in.
With this tick, bro, I don't know what's going on with this connection thing now, boy. But yeah,
man. Calm. Yeah.
You're saying about being a baller.
He looks like he's got a bit of an attitude about him. You know them ones. And the thing is, like with certain man, that man had to drop Aguero and let him know if you don't press, you're not playing, innit? Like, it don't matter who you are, blood. This is the system. This is your role in the team, innit? So if he's starting to get above his station.
Do you know what it is about Guendouzi for me? It's like he needs to decide, like, does he want to give his life to football? Because he does seem like he can be professional. Because you have seen statements of him being incredibly professional and a good individual. Equally, you've seen it like being bad, innit? So it's like he needs to understand. I think it's a thing where it's a time and a place. Like, he seems a bit overjoyous half the time. Like you said, head loss. It's like he's got ADHD sort of thing. He needs to know there's a time and a place. Because like there was even rumors how Arteta was watching footage back of the train, like when he's training and stuff, and you know, Guendouzi's messing around, or in the video analysis, it's like there's a player in there, but the penny might drop. And for me, I don't know if it's a French thing, because you know yourself, you've had a couple French players at your team. They're very opinionated, or they're very like not mercenaries, but they're who they are, sort of thing. And I think he goes through that. But I think it's just fundamentally, do you want to understand that? Do you want to be a baller? And I think maybe there's a bit of complacency in his game. What he's come from Lorient Division 2, he's come to Arsenal, probably expected to be doing that rotation, Europa League, but he was playing that. It was down to him. He was working hard, but he was playing, and I think that's created a false sort of bubble in that you're not that player yet. Because I remember Mkhitaryan, when he was at Arsenal, I think he was giving a talk with Arsenal.com. He was like, if Guendouzi works, and I mean really works, and applies himself all the time, he can be a player. And the impression I got is what we're saying, in that there's a player there, you can see there's rough edges, but there might be a bit of an attitude, a bit of head loss, a bit of a loose sort of cannon sort of thing. So yeah, man.
That's what I'm saying, brother. And the thing is, it's mad. When you look at him, you can see that. When I first...
all the time he can be a player. And the impression
now you man got him for no money whatsoever.
One
second. Comments moving mad. What's going on?
Yeah, what's happening?
1 second. Yo, man, slap the like button as well. Slap the like button while you're in there, bruv.
Keep abusing that. Fam, they're on us.
1 second. What's it? There's so much.
Yeah, what's happening? They're free. I think they're freezing. I think the comments are freezing up your team, you know.
You man, slap the like button as well. Slap the like button there, bruv. Like some people are saying it's yours, some people are saying it's mine, bro. I think it looks like both of our team are doing that.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on, fam. I'm reading the comments. Deluded, you keep freezing. Rants, you keep freezing.
The thing's just doing that magic.
Yeah, it's like, bro, I don't know, bro. I don't know his internet. It was. I think it's just evil eye car. It was working hella until it hit like 40 minutes. It was moving hella calm. There was nothing.
It was moving calm. It was moving calm. But yeah, bro, with some of these ballers, bro, it gets like that. Sometimes it just comes down to attitude, innit? But one thing, I think that you man could be pretty happy with the gaffer, innit? Like I think that he has a plan, innit? Like I always say, if I can see what a man's plan is, I can buy into it, innit? Facts. You know them ones, and that was my biggest problem with our manager at the beginning was I was like, bro, I don't see no plan. Like if your plan is if your plan is just play like your best players, bro, that's common sense, bro. Like I need to see more than just if a man's injured, man are getting clapped. You know them one. Like man can't put down losing games to teams that you have better players than just because you didn't have your strongest team. Because we're Manchester United, we're meant to go to Burnley, yeah, and rest 5 man, yeah, or have 5 injuries and still beat them. You know them. Man shouldn't be going and holding 3 to man like that and them saying, oh yeah, like I had 2, 3 injuries. Come on, bro. The man on the pitch were better than the man they had on the pitch. You get me? So if you prepare them properly, they're supposed to just go and win. How I see football, blood. If my man are better than your man, then 99% of the time, apart from the one madness that happens where you just have an off day, you're meant to come out with the result. And too many times against the smaller teams, you weren't getting the result, bro. You know them ones. And that's why I looked it down. I was like, what are these men doing in training? So now we've got all of our players fit and we're slapping up teams. I'm happy, bro. But I know in the back of my mind, if the board don't back this manager and give him more good players, we're back to square one with a couple injuries, bro. Like I have not lost my head to that. You know them ones, because we look amazing at the moment. But we're only 2 injuries away from having to scrape results again. We'll end up getting clapped.
I agree, man. It's like looking at United as an outsider. Like I don't want to criticize Oli because he's unfair, but it's like it seemed like too much in his press conferences. Like the first couple of games it flies, but it's like we're United. It's the United way. It's this, it's that. After a while, like guys need to start hearing what you're trying to implement on the field. And it felt like I don't know if he's implemented it now, but it looked like people didn't understand what it meant to be a United player. Like you're supposed to, whether you make mistakes or not, you need to, when you get that ball, you play it forward. You know, there's an option. You know, we defend well, we counter attack and break teams down. And I think too often they're not players. Because you know what it is. I saw the same things that I've seen at Arsenal with you. Like it's like players are passing the buck, players are not really tracking, and it's like I think people don't understand how much of a thing confidence is in football and how much player power is. It's like I think that's why people are riding for Oli, because he might not be a good coach, but he seems good, like a good sort of voice to be around, a sort of father figure. I mean, you know, for someone like Mason Greenwood, it must be a dream car. You know, that's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, 99 and all of these sort of things. So I agree with what you're saying. We need to see a plan, and that's me with Arteta, because I see what I like about Arteta, he doesn't bullshit me. Like at least I'm seeing he's not bullshitting. He is saying stuff like, I want to buy players, but it is down to the board. I want Aubameyang to stay, but it's down to the board. We need to do this, we need to do that. And it's like, I can't call a spade because we all, obviously you want United to be back where you was. I want invincible Arsenal and all of these things. But, you know, if you're telling me these sort of things, most people take their caps on and off and just see things for what they are. And I think that's a problem in itself with football. Like you can see United are not United of old, but that's probably a sense of frustration for some fans because they can't comprehend. Like it's not a Alex Ferguson thing right now, at least for now.
100%. My man saying, what's your thoughts on Lampard as a coach, blood? What are you saying? Personally, I think against West Ham, you saw his limitations as a manager, bro. His in-game decision making still not there. Do you know what I'm saying? Chelsea play good football. They've got good coaches, and also, man inherited the team from Sarri, blood. Like, if one thing Sarri's teams can do is keep the ball
and play it, and all them things there.
You know them, man. So I'm not sure how much credit of their style of play goes to Frankie yet, because they're Sarri's players, blood. You know them ones. It's just like defensively. I'm not sure how much of our defensive stuff is down to Oli and is down to Jose, blood. Because a lot of the time when we did have these clean sheets, we were playing a 5 at the back. You know what I mean? So it does kind of deceive you, because man are playing 5 at the back and 2 DMs, blood. Like if you can't keep a clean sheet with 7 man back there, bruv, there's a problem.
And you really are.
As soon as we opened up yesterday, blood, Harry Maguire's getting put on a poster. You know, like that.
Played yesterday, Jesus Christ.
You know what I mean? So when we open up and try and attack teams, we actually see how vulnerable we still are defensively. You see what I'm saying? But we still conceded 2 goals yesterday, even though we slept 5. You know what I'm saying? So
as well, that's the thing. Yeah.
That's it. So when we open up, we're seeing the vulnerability still in the team. Do you know what I mean? So there's still little places that man need to strengthen. But with Frank, I'm not really sure. One thing I do know is Chelsea are recruiting well enough that like he can get away with not being a top manager, yeah, if he's going to get the players that they're linked with. And it's the same with Oli. If man are going to get players of that caliber, we can get away with not having a top manager, bruv, if you're going to have top players. But you can't have not top players and not a top manager, bruv.
See, with Lampard, it's difficult because I'm still trying to find out about him. I feel at the start they've gone through wobbles, but it's like he looks like he wants to play that, you know, forward football, progressive and things. One thing I think is he's good for the young players because, you know, Callum is not signing a new deal. All the kids are playing. But beyond being good for the young players and progressive football, I'm not too sure because they're leaking goals at the moment. You know, at a point they were being solid. They're looking too frail defensively and it keeps happening game in, game out. So it's like the same energy you're giving to Praiser, man, you've now got to look at Lampard and think, what's going on? I do think, like you said, man, some of the signings, if he does get it, will allow him to coast and things like that. I feel they're a bit like Arsenal a few years ago in that they can probably put lovely moves together, play lovely football, but, you know, once that ball over the top on the counter, like you saw against West Ham, they're in trouble. Like they're in trouble. It's like they've been kind of poor for a minute. Like even back, who they play in the FA Cup? Was it Leicester? I could be wrong, but he was like, "Oh, we were crap today." Like he said, we won, but Lampard was quite vexed. He's like, "We were crap." Yeah. It was
like, Leicester.
I think
that's the thing. That is the thing with Frank, though, bro. Like the one thing I do like about him is how honest he is in his evaluation of the team. The one thing that gives me hope about him as a manager, just in general, is that when Chelsea don't play well, he knows what's wrong, blood. You know them. There's been certain games with my manager at the beginning where we played rubbish, and he's come out and said, "Oh, we were unlucky today. We had a better team," and I'm like, "Rah, blood." You know, you know what I mean? I'm like, man, we just had like 35% possession, and man is saying we are unlucky, bro.
Yeah,
man were having us up, bro. You know them, man were having us up. You know what I mean? And man will say, "Oh, you know what? Like we didn't, like we were unlucky today," and I'm like, "No, bruv. Like
we're not.
We got it wrong, bruv. Like we got it wrong. Bear man went up to it today. Bear man losing the ball, crap in possession. We're not progressive enough. Bare different things. And man will say certain things after the game, and I'm like, bruv, what were you watching? You know, like that. You see what I'm saying? And that is my thing, bro. And that's why I've always made it 100% abundantly clear, bro. If man's not going to be a top coach, you have to get top players, bro. You have to, because you look at Barcelona. No matter what manager comes in, but they probably still win the league more times.
Win the league or be second. Put in a thing, It's just
like Tito, Villanova, and them man. You think them man are going anywhere else and winning anything? But when you go into that team and you got bare bad man, there's only so much managing you need to do, fam. You know, like that. There's a reason why. Man like Villanova, and look at Luis Enrique as well, blood. As soon as man left Barcelona, ain't no one talking about him no more.
It's true, he's gone to do up the international scene.
You see what I mean? No one's talking about him no more, bruv, because you don't have to be a top manager if you got top players. But if you don't have top players, that's when man really see who the managers are. That's why man have to respect Wilder. You get me? That's why man have to respect managers like man have to respect Nuno and them man there, blood, because them man are balling. They're balling on a budget, blood. That's real management. Do you know what I mean? So when my team need 25 fit man to win a game, I'm looking at my manager. I'm thinking, what are you coaching?
Like, you should be accounting for things over the season that this guy's gonna miss, this guy's gone, and things like that. For me, I think it's a thing. This more and more, it's more about how you manage people now, and I think that's why Lampard, even if Arteta was rubbish, even if Ollie's rubbish, they can get away with it because it's like this is probably Jose's demise. Like you can't shout at man now like too tough. You can't because they're gonna tell their friends, their agents, and you're done at it. They're gonna conspire against you. Like I think that's the thing with football, and I think that's why. And another thing on top of that, I feel like we was talking about earlier. I don't feel footballers are, I won't say as smart, but I don't think they have as much pride in their performance because like you go back 10, 20 years ago, like Ferguson, Wenger, people before them, they were always shouting on the pitch. But now you're praising Klopp for doing all of this and Pep for doing all of this. It's because players they don't have to think anymore. Like they don't have to really have accountability in their own performance. Like, and I think a lot of that is due to player power, man. It's like if you shout at a player or they play bad, immediately they want to leave. It's nothing to do with being dead. Like,
but the thing is, that's why it's so important to move with the times, bro. So important. The one thing Sir Alex Ferguson did, which made him reinvent himself, and also he kept bringing in different number twos.
Yeah.
Because as a manager, he didn't really change, blood. he was still the same manager that kicked the boot in David Beckham's face, blood. You know the ones there. But the difference is, his number 2 was the one that would deal with the coaching side, and Ferguson would do the arm round the shoulder side. That's what he would do, bro. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in modern day football, Arsene Wenger was the supreme football coach. But when it came to getting the best out of certain men and dealing with different attitudes like your Samir Nasri's and that, he wasn't the best at doing the man management thing. That's why when you look at Wenger, there's bare more ex-Arsenal players that disrespect Wenger than ex-United fans, players that disrespect Fergie, blood, because of their actual personal relationships. No one can deny Wenger's ability as a coach, bro. He's the best coach that man's seen in the Premier League for the fact that he had Arsenal balling with Mario and Shamak and them, man, and Giroud and them. When Pep came into the league, blood, he never had all of his players, blood.
Immediately.
He had to immediate. Man had to buy 3 fullbacks in one window.
He did a Mazzolini.
Man bought 3 fullbacks and a goalkeeper, and then the keeper was shit, and bought another keeper.
Literally. Fair money getting spent at that.
There you go, blood. And my man was doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? And so Wenger was doing all that. He was doing all that. And when you look at Arsenal now, they spent bare money post Wenger, and they're still not outperforming Wenger, blood. You see what I'm saying,
bro? We've misspent, fam. Like, just that's the thing about us. That's why I don't buy the lack of, even if you have no money and these things, I don't buy that. Because if you can't splash big, buy correct, then innit? Like, do the scouting thing properly. It's like, I'm not criticizing these players, but Lucas Perez, if I say him to half football fans, they're like, who's that? That's 20. Like, they're like, who is that? Xhaka, I like him. He's polarized opinion, 40 odd million. Mustafa, 35-40 million. You get it? Like this, we're mismanaging the wage structure that we're now chasing to try and fix up with getting Ozil off and Mickey off, and there'll be a couple of others. What we've done off the field has directed on it. What we've done on the field is directing off it, and now we're just playing catch up to this mad thing, man. Like, it's a fuckery. Like,
exactly. When you look at Wolves, blood, look at the squad that they've built on the money they've built it on, and they have a clear identity, a clear way of playing, and bruv. Like, when I say they spent the same amount of money on Neves, that we spent on Daniel James, blood.
Swear?
Yeah.
Mazzolini.
Ruben Neves cost the same amount of money as Daniel James, blood.
That's ridiculous.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I mean when you have man that understand how to work the market, and you get a profile of player, and you have a system and a philosophy, then you end up doing deals like that. Everyone's screaming about Adama now, Adama never cost Wolves no big money.
Exactly. They just trained him. They worked with him. Like, they saw that there's something in, they started learning to cross the ball. And now look, everyone's saying, oh, I knew he was a player, I knew he was a baller. And we all knew he was a baller. Let's just get it out of him now. That's the thing. Like, it's ridiculous.
But that's the thing with football. So again, with our club, when man say, oh, back the manager. Bro, we spent nearly £1 billion since Ferguson's left, blood. The managers have been backed, bro. It's just that we recruited poorly.
Exactly, simple as like,
that's what it is. Man can't say we're not backing managers when man are spending. We're averaging over 150 million a window.
That's a mazel. You see, and
that's not backing the manager.
Fully backing him, fully backing the gaffer, and that's where it's about buying correctly. And I feel maybe the top 6. I don't think the top 6 kind of maybe it's because they don't have to, but I don't think they really stress test signings and get it right in comparison to if you was to look at, the French league or the German league. I don't think I think it's English culture thing. It's like everything is just buy. The solution is just to buy someone. Like, it does help. You do, like, both our teams need players, but you can't just buy. It's like a Liverpool. Clearly, buying Van Dijk made the difference, but they understood we need to learn how to defend. We need to be able to shut out clean sheets, and for all their goal scoring stats, they're up there for clean sheets. They're up there for defensive stats. Is it any coincidence now that they've managed to, whatever reason now, sadly, they've claimed that first league title after 30 years? It's like people in England, and I'd say specific to Arsenal fans as well, because it applies to them, you don't understand the need of a coach and having to rebuild sides and actually rebuilding players and actually renewing contracts as well, like keeping the same sort of thing together. Because you could argue keeping the Rashfords, the Martials, now Greenwood, and all them other young players, that's, and maybe even Pogba into that, that's as important as bringing in a Jadon Sancho, as bringing in another centre-half. It's about keeping them together and whatnot, man.
Absolutely. And that's one thing Oli has done well, his man management. 10 out of 10. Everyone looks happy. Like you said about Martial smiling and that. I don't put too much on players smiling and that and their attitudes, because a lot of players just, bruv, it is how they are. You know them. But the facts are, yeah, the chemistry in that team, yeah, and the togetherness has never been like this before, bro. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that no one can doubt that the managers brought. So those things are just as important. And if you can do that and have a good coach as well, if he can't be the coach, then he needs to have a good coach beside him, bruv. And that's where you get the balance in it. And then you get the hybrid managers like the Jurgen Klopps, who's a great manager. You can tell the players love him. And also he's a great coach as well. But these
coach, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So he is like, he's like the literally the marrying of a Pep Guardiola and a Jose Mourinho, blood.
Yeah, literally.
You know them ones. And that's why he's so successful, bro. Because when you look at his team should not have ran away from that Man City team on paper. There's no way.
They're not, the depth isn't quite there, but that's what it is when it's belief. Like, even when you hear about how they came back against Barca, he said in the dressing room, I don't know how we can do it, but I believe in you guys. And they went and gone and done that, innit? I think that's what football's like. I mean, and that's what, going back to Arsenal, that what I like about Klopp is he's provoked that in the players. It's like Klopp doesn't have to tell didn't have to tell them players if they win and lose, what happens and what's at stake. It seems that with my club and other clubs, it's like, we need to tell man, you lost this game, top 4 isn't gonna, you might not get there. It's like he should just be like an army lieutenant reinforcing the message. It seems like it's a mazam, man. And I think people, like we said, people don't understand the psychological things that go into football. Because look at that Liverpool team. Like, to be honest, they've got some great individuals, but collectively, is it the best squad? No, probably not. It's probably, I'll give it, you know what? It might even be third best in the league. I'd say City, debatable, other clubs, their front three is definite. But it's like, they've got consistency, they've got belief, they've got the desire to be better. It's like people don't understand how these things are as important as spending checkbooks and stuff on players. It's ridiculous. Like, it's a massive.
And that's what you say about their front three, blood. Our front three's got more goals than theirs.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And man are battling for top 4, and these man done sewn up the title already. You know, like that.
Yeah, see, like. It's a weird game of football, bro. Football's a weird game.
That's what I'm saying, bro. So, like what my man was saying, what's more important, the tools or the system, bro? The system is always king, bro. That's why I tell man. That's the reason why Wenger, was able to protect these owners for so long, because, bro, man's system was so wavy that he could bring in a man, and even if they weren't up to scratch,
get away with it.
They'll get away with it, blood, because the system fundamentally was there. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's where my criticism for my current manager will always come from. It's like, you don't have a system, bro. You can't just say, oh yeah, my philosophy is to counter-attack quickly. That's cool, but like that.
What happens when you can't counter? Because that's
what happens when you can't counter. Yeah. What happens when the team sit deep and you can't counter? Then what happens? That's why we have better joy against the bigger teams that come out and try to play football against us, and our record's so good because they come forward and they allow us to have space in behind. And as soon as man want to sit back here, man are just knocking on the door. No one's answering. The man just knocking and just outside. You know what I'm saying? Man didn't know how to kick the door off, blood. And then Bruno came in and just blasted the door.
Just smashing it up now, innit? Moving like Riley's and just smashing it up, yeah.
You see what I mean? But that's what I mean. And the difference is, when you have a system, you can have lesser players in the system that can do a job. When there's no system, it just comes down to how good individually these players are.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And that's what it comes down to, bro. And you can get away with that if you have the players. But when you don't, like the Norwich game showed us, as soon as Oli made loads of changes, blood, we were never comfortable in that game, blood. And I thought he was going to penalties. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is, bro, in football. People need to understand, with managers and coaches, systems and players, bro. It very much depends. When you look at Bolton with Sam Allardyce, blood, when man's got JJ Okocha and them, man, you can't tell me that he coached these man. Bro, JJ was doing what he wanted, blood.
Yeah, he's doing whatever he wanted to do. Yeah.
You see, and that's it. That's with football. Like, you can have loads of good players and just a good man manager. Just say, go out there, enjoy yourself, lads. Boom, cool. Or you've got man like Arteta that's getting man playing above the level that they should be playing at. Because on paper, there's not many players above a 7 out of 10 in that Arsenal squad.
There's only probably about, I'd say, like I said earlier, like if I was manager and I took over tomorrow, the only players that is non-debatable would be part of my plans. Aubameyang, without a doubt, whether he stays or not. Saka, Martinelli, Tierney. Yeah. I personally like Herrera. I don't think Arteta fully convinced, but I like him. That be it. You know what? 6. I think Leno's okay. Leno's not the best keeper in the league, but he's all right. You have a decent back 4, 5, whatever in front of him and get away with it. Beyond that, you know, you look at Guendouzi. Oh, I like Pepe as well. You look at Guendouzi, you look at Pepe, and they're decent players, but you're like,
what do you make of Pepe? Because someone put in a question saying, what are your thoughts on him? What are your honest thoughts about him?
Do you know what? I'm actually happy with him. Like, I do think the bar could be higher. He should do better. But I think Arsenal fans, and it's not exactly the best way to look at it, but they need to remember just a year ago, we had Ozil and Mkhitaryan at a point. Emre was doing acts of terrorism, playing both of them on the flank. It's a mazza. It's like, that's 2 creative midfielders. Like, he's doing better than what we had. I ain't got his stats to hand, bro, but like, he's up there for goals and assists, the contribution. What I want to see about him,
I think he's got 16 goal contributions or something.
Yeah, like I want to see a bit more confidence in him. I think he's a bit of a confidence player. I want to see him confident, and I think he's at that level now. It's like, do you want to be a decent player, or do you want to be like the guy for this team, the one that's always making the difference and stuff? And I think he needs to be provoked to think like that, and I think that's what Arteta's getting out of him. He's making him track more and things like that. Is he going to justify 70 million? I don't think he is going to ever justify that price tag. Nothing against him, but I think he's all right, man. I think he can have a decent season next year, man. I like Pepe, man. I like him still.
Yeah, like this guy's asking me why I don't rate Pepe. You know what it is? It's not that I don't rate him. It's just that I don't trust him. You see, with me, yeah, I've got a bias towards certain players, bro. I've never hidden it. Like, when I look at wide players, I don't like players that look mad erratic. You know what I'm saying? That don't look like they know what they're doing. With Pepe, when he gets the ball, it's like sometimes he just looks like I'm just running and I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen and open up in front of me. He doesn't look like he's got a picture in his head. You know them ones? He always looks like he's thinking on the job, like there, like in the moment. You know them ones? And attackers like that, I don't like that. Rashford's a bit like that. Like, you'll dribble, you'll wait. And sometimes I'm like, Rashford, just run at him. Just run at him, blood. You know what I mean? You're always,
do it.
Yeah, you're waiting for the defender to make up your mind for you, bro. Just make up your mind and go with conviction. You know them ones? And with Pepe, sometimes I see him divering on the board and he's looking. I'm like, bruv, just go at him. You know them ones? When you run at man with conviction, bro, more times you'll go past them. And you look at Jadon Sancho, yeah, the reason why he's got such a good rate of taking man on is when he picks up the ball, he just decides that I'm running at this youth, blood.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take him on and rip him, yeah.
That's it. Whereas with Pepe, yeah, and with Rashford, they kind of diver and they're like, boom, and a man's stuttering and it's all like, it's a face-off. Nah, bro, just decide you're going to run at man and just run at him. And with Pepe, everything looks reactionary. You know them ones? He doesn't look like he just takes the initiative. When he does, man's cutting inside and whipping the ball in the top corner.
And doing the mazza, yeah.
But there's not enough conviction in his game for me. You know them, and that's what it is. That's why I prefer Pulisic. Like, when I look at Pulisic, he looks like he just has a picture in his head, blood. He knows what's around him. He receives the ball. He knows when he wants to go past a man, when he wants to give it early. He just looks more refined, innit? And I'm more biased towards more refined players. That's why I prefer Martial over Rashford, because he looks like he wants to do the give and go. He looks like he knows what's around him. Whereas there's other maverick players like your Rashfords, like your Pepes, where it's like some days them man look like a 2. Sometimes they might look like a 9. You know what I'm saying? Like, one day Pepe slept like, was it like 2 free kicks in one game, blood? And
yeah. It's Europa League or something.
See what I mean? When man's doing that, and then the next game, you're not getting that again.
That's what I mean about it. It's like he needs to. I think he's of that age. He's my age. He's 25. I think he's of that age where you need to say, do I enjoy being a footballer or do I want to be like a footballer? I don't think he's. I don't think he lacks professionalism, but I don't feel he's giving it to him. Like you can see Mo Salah, he went from being okay to a good player. I think with Pepe, I agree. He's got to keep it simple sometimes, because it's like he'll rip. He can play it simple. He can do the thing that people don't give Pepe credit for is he can beat a man, but he can also do the tight play, tight space thing. With him, it's like you said, it's like it's reactionary. It's like, I'll beat this man, now I beat him. What do I do? It's like, get your head up, play someone. And I think the last few games, obviously he missed the last game because his wife's giving birth or something like that. He's been playing with that. He's been playing with the clarity of mind. And for me, the one red alarm I have over him and Reece Nelson, they're confidence players. Like they're very, like I can see it. It's like it's confidence players. Like I like confidence players, but they're one of my pet peeves. Is because if I don't consistently put my arm around you, you're gonna do something. And forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think Cristiano Ronaldo, to a degree at United, was once upon a time like that. Then his mentality just changed. He said, you know what, I want to be a difference maker. Now I'm not saying Pepe is ever going to be in the same bracket, but I think that's what Pepe needs to do. He needs to realize, you know, I'm the star man here. You know, if I win or lose, it's not just me, but I need to be making the difference like Aubameyang. I still think. I don't think we play I still don't think we play to Aubameyang's strengths. I still don't think we play to Pepe's strengths because we're not hitting it in behind. You know, being a right back is irrelevant to what Pepe is doing because he still needs to play well. But you know, Bellerin is not trying to overtake him, overlap him. He's not trying to play forward. I think if we can get a consistent partnership, Pepe. Because look at Maitland. What was it? The game you mentioned, Brighton, when he banged it. Maitland might not be everyone's cup of tea, but is it any coincidence that from a man is overlapping, Pepe is getting more of the ball, he's getting different areas, and he's scoring, fam?
Bro, that's another thing football fans don't understand, and that's why I get on to Luke Shaw so much. Because, bro, like when you look at your Arsenal team, you had Perez and who was your left back at the time? Ashley Cole. Like, bro, when you've got Ashley Cole overlapping, bro, defender's got a decision to make. Do you go with Ashley Cole's run and then Perez plays him in? If you do, Perez cuts in and shoots. If you don't go with Ashley Cole, he slides him in, bro. When your fullbacks don't overlap, and the same thing we had with Beckham and Gary Neville, blood. Even though Beckham never went down the outside, never, he always came in and he would whip it early. But you couldn't afford to let Gary Neville go down the outside and not follow him, because if you didn't, you'll just play him in, bro. When you don't have overlapping fullbacks, never do you really see Rashford and Luke Shaw link up on the left side, which means Rashford has to beat two men. Do you know what I'm saying? Well, you should up
against, and it's a myth.
There you go.
Making ain't the best already.
There you go. So if Pepe's got a man overlapping, and now the fullback's thinking, do I go with him or do I stay with Pepe? Even that split second where man's got to think, do I go with him? Pepe's gone.
That could be a goal. Like that could be a goal. This is what
and that's the difference in football, bro. Systems. When you don't have two overlapping fullbacks that are made to overlap, bro, it's harder work for the wingers because now you need a winger that's beating man.
Exactly. You're going to get doubled up against. Imagine you're playing a team that's doing 4-5-1. There's even more man defensively. You're not going to do anything. And I think that's a problem with football fans as well in the Prem, because I'm not saying, like, I look at Arsenal, what, Pepe, Ozil, you lot probably Pogba. It's like, you can critique these players, but it's like people see these men and just think, the minute they put on these kits, they're scoring 20 goals a game. They're making like, you might as well call the league a myth. Like, you don't understand them, man. They are humans. They need a system, and they're just not messiahs. Like, if you're not Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, you can't decide a league by yourself, game in, game out. Can't do it. People don't understand that in the league.
Brother, unless you're Lionel Messi, you just can't do that anyway, blood.
Yeah, literally.
And even without the system he's in, he's not the same player. Man, I've seen it internationally. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that he's not a good player. So when people say, "Oh, he's a system player," that's not a disrespect to players, but certain players just thrive in certain systems, bro, in a certain environment. There's nothing wrong with that, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? So people need to understand that when you are critiquing certain players as well, sometimes you need to look at the system they're playing in. It's either hindering them or it's actually helping them and making them overperform. Like when you actually look at Pepe's numbers on paper, they're not that bad, bro. But I look at his overall performance levels and the consistency of them, and it's not up to scratch.
It's floated consistently, yeah.
That's what I mean. It's not up to scratch.
As well, he had to improve defensively, because I think that's why he lost his space, because Arteta was on him about that. He's like, and I think that's obviously Arsenal, the biggest club in the world, but I think with Lille, he could get away with not tracking back because he's the main man sort of thing. He is still the main man, but it's different. I think he's improved defensively a lot. I forgot to mention that, because he's like that's what I like from Arteta. It's like you go two ways. You either go like when Dozy allegedly, wants to leave, not in the squad, or you bounce back. It provokes a reaction. But I think with Pepe, maybe with having a youth, he understands football's not that important and he plays better and all them things. But he just needs to understand that, listen, like, do I want to be a baller for this club or do I want to coast? And it's like, I need to be the maverick. Like, I need to demand more, because he isn't the biggest. I don't care for open up your mouth, but just from going to the Emirates and looking on TV, he doesn't really talk. And I'm not saying you need to be mad expansive, but I want you to be a bit more demanding of people around you. Like, Bullock, Bellerin, like logically, if I was a right back, if my winger needs me to make an overlap and he shouts, "Oh, what are you doing?" Obviously, I'm going to do it. I don't think he's shouting at Bellerin. I don't know if he's too nice a guy. I don't know. He does scream a bit of a shy.
He looks very, very passive, innit? He looks very passive. Every time you see him, even when he's walking, he's kind of got his head down. His body language is kind of, his body language is kind of like he's just coasting. You know them ones, like, where are the personalities in your team, blood? Because I don't know what these personalities are, because apart from Aubameyang,
Aubameyang, Tini Jacques, Aubameyang, Lacko. Guendouzi, even credit to be fair to Guendouzi, that's one thing I give him. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Well, maybe Kolasinac seems like he's got a bit. Has he not got a bit of a presence about him? I don't know.
You know, I'm kind of trying to differentiate, like, not being a dickhead and being someone I'd listen to. I think he will open his mouth and bollock man and stuff. I think Mustafi like that as well. But
who are the respected players? Because even when I look at my team, there's starting to be more man in the team now, that you look up to and you're like, all right, man's got his chest up, really doing anything. But like when you look at Pepe, you just look like someone that's kind of like, he doesn't look like he belongs there with his body language. You're meant to be a difference maker at Arsenal football.
That's what I'm saying about the confidence. He's like unsure of himself.
Yeah, very unsure of himself, bro. And I like attacking players with a bit of arrogance about them, even if they're not good. You know them, because there's certain men that aren't of that level, but in their head,
they think they're
the man, fam. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that he lacks that about him, and you see that in his decision making and the way he plays. It's almost like he's unsure of himself, blood. And I don't know if it's just me that
swagger in him. Like what he just he needs that. He needs to believe that I'm gonna do this, because at his lowest point in the season, he looked like a shell, man. It's like I get angry at decisions, but for me, I want my players. If you try a mad pass, it doesn't bang. Cool, learn from that, but try it again. It's like he was shelling up at times. It's like he wouldn't do several things, and I think it's only been like just before the restart / after the restart, I'm really seeing a confident Pepe. Because I remember now, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be saying like Reece Nelson and our 70-odd million man. It shouldn't be in the balance who is starting right wing or things like that. It shouldn't be that. You should be the guy. So it's like I'm looking at it, it's like like what is Arteta not seeing from you for you not to play? Or like, is he taking you out of the firing line? Which I can understand, Carl. It's it's a lot on a human, innit? Every day someone chatting about, man. But it's like it's like Guendouzi, it's little things. That's the thing about Arsenal. When you've asked me about several of these players, I'm looking at them and it's little bits and bobs and stuff like that. But will they actually do it is a different case, my guy.
Bruv, I hear you, bruv. You man smash the like button. Big up for watching him. We've had over 1,000 people watching most of this time, to be fair. This guy is a Chelsea fan. We'll answer this one before we move. Man saying, what do you think of Pulisic? What do you think of Chelsea signing Havertz? They will have an attack of left wing. Bruv, that attack's a Mazzoline. If they have that attack, bro, it don't matter how good Lampard is as a manager. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
That's amazing. They get all of that. Forget about it.
And that's how you know their owner, one, just wants to win by any means, and two, their owner buys the players, because that manager knows no way a manager wants to unbalance the team like that, blood. That's the owner saying,
I've had enough. It's time.
I've had enough.
Yeah, it's time.
You know what I mean? It's time to just do the thing. You know them ones. I still have a feeling that Havertz will end up at Bayern. However, if he ends up at Chelsea, fam, you see that Ziyech, bad man. Now I'm saying Werner, bad man. You know the one. It's one of them ones where man's got the German like efficiency, but he's got pace as well. It's wild, isn't it? And Chelsea are always hit and miss with strikers, but I feel like Werner,
he's one that should be in it.
I think he's a
shit. Like
he looks like a sure thing, in it. You know them ones there. And you look at that, but then what does that mean for Chelsea's youth team, though, blood? Because they got bare young players, Do you know what I mean? And everyone was thinking, you know what, these Chelsea men are gonna have a time. But for me, like when I look at Tammy Abraham, it's just like, man, I got KSI up front, blood. You know them, man ain't really doing nothing.
That's a KSI.
I like KSI, blood. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's not doing nothing for me. Man. Hudson-Odoi, it's going to be a big season for him next season because, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's had injury. They've talked him up to be on levels with like our guys, like the Sakas,
even before Greenwood and Saka, like chances. It was Callum and these sort of man there,
And we haven't really seen it yet. Like I like the look of Tomori, but he's not ready yet. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, if Chelsea are really going to be on the spending thing, is it going to close the door on them again? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really know. I don't know if Lampard's going to try and have a philosophy of bringing through young players, or if the owner's even going to give him that much time. Because the owner looks like, I can spend money now. You man, like what happens if the owner buys these players for Lampard and he doesn't do it, blood?
And he doesn't do it, 100. You know what it is, I feel I'm conflicted in it, because I love youth football, I love academy, I like bringing guys through, but at the same time, people need to recognize, and don't get it twisted, Chelsea's record was disgraceful previously because they had some good players, but it's not every time a young player will come through, and I think some fans have to accept You will miss some. Like everyone's developing at different rates. Like
Gnabry.
Yeah, like some man will leave. Like they might have to leave to become that. And it's like not everybody has to play. They need these problems. It's like I'm a big fan of Loftus-Cheek, but I don't know his level right now until he comes back with his injury. Personally, Tammy's made me eat humble pie this season because I used to scream he's dead, he's this, he's that, and the other. And he's still shown elements, but he's shown like he can have a role. Now Werner comes, he's flipped it on his head. You've got no choice now. You are number 2. You're begging Lampard to do 4-4-2. Like you're begging. You'll never stop talking about that. And you've got another one they gassed up is Reece James. Like he looks decent, but he's still sort of adapting. So I don't know, because fans need to realize it's all fun and games screaming Chelsea bring through these man, or Arsenal bring through these man, or you lot bring through more Greenwoods. But these same fans, they will not recognize that there's going to be a dip in results. There's going to be inconsistencies with these players, and the rival teams are going to advance or do other things. It's like fans can't have it both ways. You can't be winning Prems and talking about champs and doing this La Masia, having 11 young players. You can't do it all. Like,
can't do it all.
You do it for PSG probably, like where that leaves a bit of a weird one. Like you can't. Like some players are going to be missed, and it's like, to be fair, are any of their young players are good, but are they playing right now to the standard where you're thinking like
none of them are special?
None
of them are special, bro. When I look at this Gilmore, they've hyped him up and this, that, and the other. They like to do that. He's one of our own. You can sing all the time. I ain't seen nothing to suggest that he's special. I've seen nothing Mason Mount. I tell him, blood, you get me? Like, man's the white Lingard, bruv. That's what I see him. Like, I see a white Jesse, blood. He looks like a white Jesse to me. Like he just looks like someone that's got a good engine on him. Like he runs off the ball and all that, but still quality is what you judge players on, innit? Jesse don't have quality. All he's got is hunger and work rate, and that's what I see when I see Mount. I see what the new style number 10s that just press and ain't got no quality. You know them, man. Them pressing 10s, blood. Allow them, man. Them FIFA 10s. You know them, man. Nah, bro. If you're number 10, you need to be a creator. When I was growing up, when you had the number 10 on your back, it meant you were a bad man. You know what I mean? Like you're just pressing, man.
It meant you're a maverick. Like you are.
You're a number 10, but your best attribute is pressing, man.
That's dead. That's what I say about Joe Willock, bro. It's so funny you mentioned that, because Joe Willock plays in that role. I like him, but I think he's a box-to-box man. And it's like anytime I watch him, because it's one of them, when everybody's saying something and you can't see it, you start thinking that is the problem's you. Yesterday I watched it and he got an assist and he plays well, but beyond energy, man, don't see it. Yeah, like beyond energy and work rate. And if I'm cynical, I like Joe, but if I'm cynical, I like that must be the minimum you must bring to the team, innit? Like, especially in midfield, that should be the minimum.
Bruv, that's why when we were playing Dan James, fam, if the only thing you offer is pace, bruv, you shouldn't be playing for man. You know, like that, man. Like Oli called him a defensive winger, So I looked up the stats, bruv, and he averages less than 1 tackle a game. So how are you a defensive winger, blood, but you don't win the ball back?
Yeah, what are you doing?
What are you doing? You're just running, blood. You know, you're not a defensive winner. If you're a defensive winger, I'm trying to see at least X amount of recoveries in a game and stuff like that. You're not recovering possession. You're not tackling, man, but you're a defensive winger, bro. You're selling dreams, blood. You're stealing a living. You know, like that. So all of these man there, I can't have it, bro. If you're number 10, you need to be getting assists and creating. You can't just be pressing, man.
Yeah.
You know, like that. Or else I'll use you away from home against a team that I think we're not going to have the ball in. And you'll just be an option, blood. I'll use you like how Darren Fletcher got used, like how Park Ji-sung got used in away games in Europe. But you're not starting for me. You can't be a starting player for me and all you offer is a press, blood. You get me? That can't run. When I look at him, do you know what I mean? Loftus-Cheek, again, injury records. I like him technically. I think he looks like a player that's got a picture in his head. Technical, good player. Do you know what I'm saying? Physically quite well. He carries the ball well and he can shoot. You know what I mean? He's got an eye for goal. He's got all the attributes, but until I see it for a few full season, do you know what I'm saying? He's just potential at the moment, blood. Do you know what I mean? All of these, man, there's no one here that you can say Saka's shown that he's Premier League standard. Like he's a player now. You know them ones. Mason's a player. All these other men on their team, none of them have shown me that they can even hit the heights that our men have hit. Even if they've only hit them for 5 games, these men haven't hit them for 2.
They haven't shown them yet at all, really and truly. Like, do you know what it is with the Chelsea youngsters? I agree. I think it's what fans do of all clubs. Like they just gas players. Like I like them, but it's like the way you put it, I can't disagree. It's like there's no like marquee, like a man's like you look at Greenwood, it's not an age thing. He literally is one of the best performers playing for United right now. Saka is literally one of them and one of the first names on the team sheet. Chelsea are hard. The youngsters got ability, but it's like right now, it's like, are any of them on it on form? And I don't want to be unfair. It's like I like Billy Gilmour, but it's exactly what you're saying in that they're not really badding it up. They're playing well, but you're kind of waiting for that next little sort of step sort of thing. And I don't know why, because someone like Mason Mount, he's got way more experience than Saka. Like, then fair enough, it might be just levels. One's destined to do other things, but he's got that grounding at Derby. Like, I like him, but I like. Do you know what he's been? You know what? Did you know the talk of how Maddison, Grealish, and him? It's like, yeah, he would be last for me. I like him a lot. I think he's the best goal scorer out of all of them. He'll get the most goals, but it's like I'm probably taking Maddison out of all of them.
Someone said that to me. So they said Maddison, Grealish, Mount, and Declan Rice. And for me, I rate Mount the least, blood, out of all of them in terms of what he offers and also just ability, bro. Because Declan Rice is very, very good on the ball, blood. Very good on the ball. And he can play centre half as well, reads the game well. And now he's starting to show against like Chelsea and all of that, bruv. Man can hold his own in a Premier League.
Play the ball in that, yeah.
You know that, and still impose himself on a game, blood. I see Mason Mount go missing in games. You know them ones. Grealish don't go missing, bro. Like, he's literally been dragging this Aston Villa team, blood. And doing all that. You get me? And then Maddison, bruv, Maddison's a baller, fam. You know them ones. And all of them are in lesser teams than Mason, bro. You see what I'm saying? So when I look at that, I'm like, he's good, but he's not there, blood. He was getting in the England team ahead of Maddison, and I'm scratching my head saying how.
It's the clout.
Getting in the England team ahead of Jack Grealish, how?
It's that Chelsea clout, bro.
You see what I'm trying to say? So, like, a lot of the time, when you're at a big club and you're English, you get a little favoritism a lot of the time. Do you know what I'm saying? But you're not there yet, blood. None of their players look special to me. Out in terms of ability, Hudson-Odoi looks special to me, blood.
I think he's gonna be a real player. Yeah. He needs to show it. Like,
in terms of ability, I've seen him for maybe 3 years, blood, when they were gassing him up, and I saw this guy, 2 good feet, brave, technical, everything. You know what I mean? But again, until he does it,
it's all that's really. Oh, don't start this. You. Oh, it's doing it again, fam.
Wrap up. 1 minute. I'll jump out and.
Oh, it's doing it again, cuz. Yo. Bro, oh shit. I don't know what that was. Oh, he's back.
Hold on.
Yo. Let me leave as well.
Moving. You man are funny, you know.
Yo, yeah, we're there again. Or not. Hey, why is the internet against us today, man?
You know what it is, yeah? I don't know. I'm not on the Ethernet. I'm on Wi-Fi at the moment. I've got Ethernet on. Yeah, but I don't know why my Wi-Fi is doing that, blood. Sometimes it's wavy and sometimes it's moving booky. But man, bruv, you see the app? Tell them your app where they can find you, fam.
Literally on Twitter, Deluded Gooner 04. That's on everything. Snapchat DGooner 04. You know, YouTube like Rants. Just type in Deluded Gooner and you'll see all my stuff, my guy, man. Really.
That's what I'm saying. Big up you lot, man, for tuning in, bruv. Man, I had a bear man tuning in the whole time. Make sure you slap the like button, and bruv, he's gonna be on plenty more.
More.
We're gonna do.
Bringing me on this as well, Rants, man.
What's that, my guy?
I said love for bringing me as well, man. I appreciate the invite and obviously bringing me in that, man.
Man saying stop disrespecting Hudson-Odoi. Blood. You see, the thing is with me, yeah. If I rate someone's thing, then man's happy to co-sign, blood. You know them, man. And that's just what it is, blood. There's a few man that I just rate their thing.
Bro, this is killing us. Yo. Oh, fuck it, man.
But yeah, this thing's bugging out, guys. But man are gonna wrap up now, yeah. But make sure you smash the like. My internet. Make sure you go and sub to his YouTube channel and make sure you go follow him on Instagram, bruv. Man's gonna dip, yeah, because this thing's moving very mad. But big up, and there'll be plenty more of these to come, man.